Welcome to the story of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, like you've never heard it before.
This story isn't told to you by the one Dragonborn that masters all, but told to you through the eyes of many different characters.
From soldiers in the Civil War seeking peace and order,
to seeking freedom and to remove the weakness from her lands.
From those cursed by the night, seeking to be the vigil in the darkness.
To warriors seeking honor, glory, and companionship.
To a shapeshifter and worshipper of the Daedra who seeks to live a life as a warrior.
To a mage seeking power and the arcane knowledge of Aetherius.
To assassins seeking fear and bringing the cold touch of Sithis.
To thieves seeking wealth beyond measure.
We all hope you enjoy
this story
of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Greetings, it's Sigund here. If you're new here, welcome. I highly recommend watching my earlier chapters, as they provide important context for Chapter 39, which will be much more enjoyable with that background information. The recommended chapters to watch are as follows. Chapter 10, the prequel of Skyrim. Chapter 11, the Bear and the Dragon. Chapter 13, Civil War, for more context on this story. Chapter 17, the Bear-Claw Raider. Chapter 35, War in the West. To easily find all these chapters, there is a playlist available. I hope you enjoy the journey and the unfolding story of Skyrim. Chapter 39, the Liberation of Whiterun. Now we were approaching the final phase of our mission. Our task was to penetrate Whiterun hold and neutralize any defenses it had in place, be it forts or outposts. Our objective was clear. We needed to encircle the city of Whiterun completely. What stood in our path was a citadel guarding the northern access to Whiterun. We couldn't rely on the citadel's allegiance, so rather than risk a potential surprise attack, we decided to preemptively eliminate its defenders. Once we had this citadel, we had a good vantage point overlooking Whiterun hold. We had access and a fortified spot to start clearing out Whiterun of its Imperial stink. We weren't present during the initial attack on Whiterun, but I always held on to the belief that our opportunity to strike would come. However, I want to do things differently. Our first attack resulted in a devastating loss, not only in the battle, but also in the hearts of the people. We approached Whiterun like invaders, ironically becoming what we despised, the Imperials. We launched artillery into Whiterun, resulting in the loss of many lives, including the very people we aim to liberate. It became evident that we must not jeopardize the lives of those we seek to free. Rather than invading their city, our objective should be to free the people of Whiterun from the clutches of the Empire. I made it clear to all of my commanding officers that our purpose was not to shed blood, but to restore the strength of Whiterun and make it an integral part of a free Skyrim. It was time to put our plan into action. I would lead a group of troops to Fort Greymoor to provide backup for the attack force that would be advancing ahead of us. Meanwhile, Brianna would set out to Fort Sungard to eliminate the Imperial presence there, ensuring they couldn't strike us from behind. With winter just days away, Skyrim was being blanketed by relentless blizzards. Whiterun, known for its advantage of spotting enemies from a distance, would now struggle to see us until we were right at their doorstep due to the heavy snowfall. Moreover, we were born and raised in the unforgiving cold of Skyrim. The Imperial soldiers will struggle to fight in the extreme cold. These poor bastards stood no chance against the indomitable spirit and resilience of the true Nords of Skyrim. Nevertheless, if the Imperials refused to retreat, then they must face their end. We witnessed Imperial troops hastily moving from their positions at the fort, indicating that the attack force had indeed arrived. It was now our turn to provide them with support and join the battle. Now that Fort Greymore had been cleared, Whiterun could no longer rely on it as an Imperial defense. It was now Brianna's responsibility to eliminate the Imperial presence at Fort Sungard, a fort that guarded the Reach and sat on both borders. We would remain here and ensure that any remaining Imperials were dealt with until Brianna's return. My mission was to eradicate the Imperial presence at Fort Sungard. While Sigund may prioritize the liberation of Skyrim, my personal motivation lies in making the Imperials suffer for the atrocities they have inflicted upon my people and our lands. I intend to leave no one standing here. Only ghosts shall remain when I'm done. These Imperial pigs tax our people with excessive taxes. They install corrupt jarls. Their soldiers commit heinous acts against our women, and they allow those pointed-eared pigs to abduct our people. To oblivion with every last one of these wretched bastards. The only satisfaction I find in an Imperial soldier is witnessing their final moments. I would hold more respect for an Imperial soldier resurrected by a necromancer, as even in death they would serve a purpose, unlike a living one. Sure, I want to see Skyrim free of these Imperial bastards, and any cowardly Nords siding with them. But my way of seeing them gone sees that they never return. That future Imperial soldiers will piss themselves at the thought of entering Skyrim. They'll remember all those Imperial soldiers that we sent back to Cyrodiil in pieces. That even looking north to the Geralt Mountains would make those dogs sweat. But until then, any milk-drinking dog wearing Imperial armor around me will be killed. I shall spare none. I shall show no mercy unless it's a quick death. Our mission was complete, and now we needed to rendezvous with Sigund at Fort Greymore, which is just a stone's throw away from Whiterun. We would wait there for Gran to join us. Together, with Tova Doomsung, we will unleash our fury upon the Imperials. During winter, people typically avoid traveling on the roads. However, we observed a woman approaching us. While I appreciate the beauty of the female form, it appeared unwise for her to expose so much of her body to the cold. Either she lacked common sense or possessed an extraordinary set of testicles dangling by her knees. While on our way back, we noticed swift movements ahead. It could be Imperials fleeing from Sigund's attack, escaping to the west. They are about to encounter the other sister. Wait a moment. Those figures appear to be Thalmor. Those dogs will not leave Skyrim alive. Every Thalmor face down in the dirt is a glorious win for all of Tamriel. We should send their severed ears back to the Somersets.
I have lived a long life as a warrior, far longer than most. I am nearly 70 winters old, and yet I continue to fight. My granddaughters are on a dangerous mission to liberate Whiterun from the Empire, and they have shown remarkable courage and skill. I am immensely proud of them, just as their mother would have been. They constantly remind me of my Marana, embodying her fierce determination and unwavering will to succeed. Their courage is a testament to her spirit. I shall stand alongside my grandchildren, Sigund and Brianna, in the battle to free Whiterun. It fills my heart with pride to witness these young women earn their rightful glory. For far too long, we have restrained their potential, but now they have unleashed their ferocity upon the Empire. And it's only going to snowball before we witness Skyrim drenched in blood or liberated from the Empire. I made a promise to Marana that I would keep them safe, and I assured Ulfric that I would shield them from true peril. But much like their mother, He knew he couldn't hold them back indefinitely. If the girls were to discover the identity of their father, it would expose them to great danger, both from the Imperials and the Thalmor. It pains Ulfric deeply to keep this secret from them, but he cannot afford to put them in such a vulnerable position or reveal any perceived weakness. Having already lost Marana, the thought of losing the girls as well would be unbearable for him to bear. We both fear that we may never see them again once they march off to war. However, I have trained them to the best of my abilities, and they are surrounded by the finest warriors in the rebellion. When Skyrim is finally free, Ulfric will reveal their true lineage to them. Over the time we have spent making plans for the girls and collaborating on battle strategies, Ulfric and I have developed a close bond. I was initially hesitant, but I suppose he finds solace in my presence, knowing that I am the mother of the woman he loved. And at my age, having some companionship is not a bad idea at all. So I'm off to reunite with my granddaughters in Whiterun Hold. By now, they should have neutralized the outer Imperial defenses. We encountered minimal Imperial resistance. Those we did encounter were merely patrols or soldiers fleeing their posts in Whiterun. Fort Greymore no longer had its Imperial flags. Good. It seems the Bear-Claws have successfully claimed it.
I assembled all of my troops outside, wanting to convey to them how proud I was of their efforts. I wanted to assure them that their sacrifices in the fight to liberate Skyrim from the Empire would not be in vain. Each one of us who falls is a testament to the cause we believe in. I wanted to tell them that I would choose to fight alongside no others but them. That when our time comes, we'll sing and fight together in the halls of Sovngarde, looking down upon Skyrim and witnessing the fruits of our struggle bloom. But until then, we still have a battle to face. Whiterun is within our sights. Our mission is almost complete, and for those who may not survive the impending battle, their memories will forever be etched in our hearts. They will never be forgotten. We had one more Imperial keep to assault, Skystone Castle. It was an ancient fortress that Whiterun rewarded to the 99th cohort for their efforts in saving Whiterun from us during the first attack. However, the 99th cohort has been scattered and greatly diminished in numbers. If any of them still remain at Skystone Castle, they will undoubtedly face certain death. This fortress was massive and remarkably comfortable. I believe this shall become the new home of the Bear-Claw Brigade. The Imperials were certainly well rewarded for halting our advance at Whiterun. My troops will surely appreciate the accommodations here. The Empire will find it difficult to impede our progress from this strategic location in the heart of Skyrim. We have the advantage of launching attacks from various directions. What kind of fool would scatter their finest troops in such a manner? The Empire not only exhibits weakness, but also incredible stupidity. We have lost more brave soldiers in this ongoing fight for our freedom, and sadly more will follow, perhaps even myself one of these days. I must return inside and begin tearing down those Imperial flags, restoring the rightful place of mighty Talos among the Pantheon. Those faithless bastards will never succeed in eradicating Talos from Skyrim or from our hearts. Talos, a true Nord who founded the Third Empire, deserves reverence and respect. It is truly disgusting how they treat his legacy. The Imperial symbol may have once represented the mighty Talos, but now it is time to dismantle it and replace it with a new symbol. A symbol that represents a liberated Skyrim and those who remain loyal to Talos. We were on the verge of achieving our goal, liberating Whiterun from the clutches of the Empire and proudly raising the Stormcloak flag high above the city. Gran knew that our intentions were not to invade, but to free. There was no artillery involved. Just a powerful wave of Stormcloaks cleansing the city from the grip of the Empire. Our intention was to offer the Jarl the choice to either swear allegiance to Ulfric and join the Stormcloaks, or to peacefully leave the city with those loyal to him. In doing so, they would be unharmed. However, if they chose to remain and maintain loyalty to the Empire, all those who sided with the Empire would be either killed or expelled from the city. Grandmother bravely volunteered to undertake this mission as the courier. She was granted entry into the city, as no one would dare to harm her, knowing that the wrath of oblivion would descend upon the city if any harm befell her. Her task was to deliver our message to Jarl Balgruuf, the ruler of Whiterun.
Things have changed since my last visit here. The Gildergreen has been restored, and the Imperials have removed the Talos statue. However, the replacement is not bad. The last time I was here, I was assisting the Greymane family in locating their son. Now, both of their sons fight alongside my granddaughters. The goal is clear: to liberate Skyrim from the clutches of the Empire. If Jarl Balgruuf refuses to bend the knee or flee, we will be left with no choice but to take the city by force. I conveyed a clear message to Jarl Balgruuf, offering him two choices: to bend the knee and pledge allegiance to the true High King, or to flee like a coward back to the Imperial lines. I gave him a deadline of 3 days to make his decision or surrender. If he fails to comply or refuses to surrender, we will proceed with our plans to take Whiterun by force.
Nan had granted Balgruuf a 3-day ultimatum to either leave Whiterun or swear loyalty to Ulfric. But he's an Imperial Jarl. They have no honor. They sold out their own countrymen and gods for Imperial gold. They are all cowards, every single one of them. They prioritize their own power and position over the well-being of the people they are supposed to lead. As the third day arrived, it became evident that Jarl Balgruuf had chosen not to leave Whiterun. His decision was made, and it seemed we would have to proceed with our plans to take the city by force. I received word from Ulfring War Torment that the Imperials were planning to strike against us. So be it. Today it seems will be a bloody one. We will wait for them here, strategically positioning ourselves for the impending battle. Like letting goats into the bear's den, we will lure the Imperials into a trap they won't see coming. Our forces guarding the exterior would have weakened the Imperial force. Now it's time for them to face the bear. The Empire must have broke through and might have took Hjalmarch. They seem to have cut through and retaken Greymoor. Looks like we have a bloody path to cut through to Whiterun. Today we will make our stand and take Whiterun. Tomorrow the living will mourn the loss of those who fought valiantly today. For every Stormcloak the Imperials dare to kill, we shall exact triple the vengeance upon them. We will paint the hold of Whiterun red with their blood. Anyone foolish enough to stand in our path will become mere fertilizer for these once golden plains. As night fell upon us and the heavy snow began to blanket the land, Whiterun prepared to throw everything they had at us. However, they seem to forget that we Stormcloaks are forged in the cold. We are accustomed to harsh conditions, unlike those Imperial milk drinkers. They should have kept themselves inside Whiterun, defending their precious hold. From Greymoor all the way to the gates of Whiterun, the Imperial troops were sent to confront us. Yet along the roads, their lifeless bodies now lie still. The crows will feast well tomorrow upon their remains. There was no stopping us now. Despite our fatigue and injuries, we were determined to see this through to the very end, even if it meant fighting until the last one of us dropped dead. Whiterun was within our grasp, and victory was inevitable. It was the moment we had all been eagerly anticipating. The conquest of Whiterun and the liberation of the city from the clutches of the Empire. We had finally arrived, and victory was within our reach. The taste of triumph was almost upon us. There he was, the coward, hiding from the battle. Belgruf is mine. He took a knee with just one strike. Are these the Jarls the Empire is relying on to govern their holds? They are nothing but weaklings, all of them. All this death falls upon him. He could have chosen to take his forces and retreat west to Solitude. Instead, he made the decision to go to war against us, knowing he had no chance of victory. The lives lost on this day are a direct result of his failure to lead. Brianna and I wanted to execute him, but Nan decided that it would be best to arrest him. It serves as a lesson of justice, demonstrating that we are not animals. We have lost many brave souls in this campaign, including close friends and families who fought side by side. Their reward for their bravery and sacrifice is eternity in the halls of Sovngarde, awaiting our arrival one day. We mourn the loss of Horbrand and Breyfrida Saltifist, valiant warriors who once served as fearless mercenaries, faithfully following our Gran into battles during their youth. Their bravery and dedication will forever be remembered, and their spirits will continue to inspire us. Though they may be gone, their legacy lives on in their daughter, Tova Saltifist. We lost 22 true sons and daughters of Skyrim during this campaign. With our victory in Whiterun, it came at a heavy cost. We send our loved ones off to Sovngarde, and we eagerly await the day we can be reunited. In their honor, we will continue to fight, to drive the Empire from Skyrim and bring peace and freedom to our land. It is a heavy burden to bear, wondering how many more friends we may lose to this war. The price of removing the Empire from our lands is steep, and it pains us to see more lives sacrificed. Yet, we remain steadfast in our cause, fighting for the freedom and independence of Skyrim. May we find strength in the memories of those we have lost and press on, hoping for a better future. Winter had arrived, and we managed to take Whiterun just in the nick of time. But the cost of this victory weighs heavily upon my heart. To all those I have lost on this journey, you will never be forgotten. I shall carry your memories with me always. For the next time we meet in Sovngarde, to the heroes we lost this day. Hermfna Heartcrusher, Jenara Ash Warrior, Horgns Oath Hilt, Skulveld's Oath Hilt, Iverondir Ember Victim, Lorisa Tortka, Huntwolf Stoutblade, Jurgst Wildbane, Elgermer Firehair, Lidica Snowbear, Rogmar Soul Skeever, Brela Longfoot, Dagja Bold Drinker, Frida Salty Fist, Horbrand Salty Fist, Igna Ravenblade, Urlfring War Torment, Oriekning Milkway, Herknir Ebon Strider, Ulad Axeseeker, and Logels Oaken Hunter. Your names shall forever be etched in my heart, and I mourn the loss of each and every one of you.
Whiterun once again belongs to its rightful heirs. It's a glorious day for Skyrim.
Vignar Greymane has been appointed as the new Jarl of Whiterun, a trusted ally to the Stormcloak cause. 9 months ago, we aided the Greymane family in rescuing their son from the clutches of the Thalmor. Now, both Thorald and Avelstein fight alongside the Bear-Claw Raiders, or as they are now known, the Bear-Claw Brigade.
Wounds to heal. Folks are depending on us getting the city back in working order. Once things settle down, I'll be looking to recruit more guards for the city, then shore up our stores of food and water. The Empire might try and take the city back. There is room in my court for a new Thane. It's an honorary title mainly, but there are a few perks someone like you...
Vignar honored me by appointing me as a Thane of Whiterun, entrusting me with the duty of protecting the city and its people from the Empire. With Skystone and Whiterun hold firmly under the Bear's control, and with winter descending upon us, the Imperials face a formidable challenge in reclaiming Whiterun. Even if they manage to retake the surrounding holds, our strategic position in the heart of Skyrim gives us the advantage to strike back. As I became a Thane of Whiterun, I was assigned a new housecarl, a young woman equipped with impressive gear. The Stormcloak housecarls are indeed fortunate to receive such fine armor. With her by my side, I have no doubt that she will display fearlessness on the battlefield, fighting valiantly for our cause. While many outsiders choose to leave Skyrim when the snow blankets the land, they miss out on the breathtaking beauty of a winter wonderland. This city was named in the winter, as the waterways carved their paths through the pristine snow. It is truly a sight to behold. Indeed, there is a unique sense of peace that comes with the arrival of winter. For us Nords, it brings a certain calmness and serenity. During these times, the harsh weather acts as a shield, providing us with a temporary respite from the Imperial forces. It is indeed a pity that the statue of Talos was destroyed by the Imperials. However, now Kain, the Nordic goddess, watches over her city with grace. The people of Whiterun can openly worship mighty Talos once more, free from the worry of the elves and Imperials. May their faith be restored and their devotion to Talos be celebrated without fear. My mission is complete. The flag of the bear now proudly waves in the free city of Whiterun. The Jarl has appointed me a home in Whiterun called Breezeholm, the very same home where we witnessed that Imperial go inside. The Imperial who halted our initial advance on Whiterun. This very home, Breezeholm, played a crucial role in saving his life. We patiently waited for him to depart Whiterun, biding our time until we could strike on the roads leading back to Skystone. However, fate had other plans, and now both Breezeholm and Skystone belong to me. He left an Imperial helmet behind. Well, it is now mine. Perhaps I will use it for target practice. To my surprise, there was also a chest filled with gold. How generous of him. However, I have decided to gift this house to Nan. She can take up residence here and command in Whiterun, while Brianna and I will remain in Skystone. The snows has temporarily ceased, at least for now. However, with the arrival of winter, we must now be concerned about the restless Draugr emerging from their tombs, and the troublesome vampires lurking in the shadows. With the sun hidden by blizzards and setting earlier, the wilds of Skyrim will become increasingly dangerous.
I'm on my way to Windhelm to join up with the Stormcloaks. Ulfric has the right of it.
With our victory spreading across Skyrim, more brave souls are joining our cause, and I warmly welcome them, regardless of their heritage. Skyrim is not only the homeland of the Nords, it is a diverse land that embraces individuals from all walks of life. As the war intensifies, it becomes evident that we will require a greater number of people to stand with us. The recruitment of more individuals is essential to strengthen our forces and ensure our success in this conflict. Together, we will face the challenges ahead and fight for the freedom and sovereignty of Skyrim. We have Whiterun, but one day we'll have Solitude and Markarth. Then Skyrim will truly be free from the Empire and under the control of the people of Skyrim. We must make it a priority to celebrate our hard-earned victories and pay tribute to the lives of those we have lost. Coming together around a crackling fire, sharing stories, and raising our mugs filled with warm mead, we find solace and strength. The fire of rebellion continues to burn fiercely in the cold land of Skyrim.
Now, we continue the story from chapter 38, The Snows of Winter, with Sigund's journey into Whiterun. Now, I was actually thinking of doing this for the last one, but obviously thank God I didn't, because it would have went for a bloody hour. This is a brand new story, and one I'm very proud of. I think one of my best, because I never thought about ever doing this for Sigund, because I thought it was impossible to take Whiterun, or for the Stormcloaks, because Open Civil Wars doesn't have that there yet. My bloody voice cracked. So, like, at the moment, you can't retake Whiterun. Once the quest is done, it is completely finished until, the mod author for Open's Civil Wars decides to add it in, which I think I convinced him to do that, but it could be a year, it could be two, who bloody knows until it's actually added. But there are console commands to actually physically take the cities, which is good because it just works. So a brand new story came to life. When I, back in like chapter 10 or I don't know which one it was, I think it was the Dragon and the Bear, or the Bear and the Dragon, I talked about saying that I'd give Sigund so much more backstory because she doesn't have a spot in the Civil War apart from battling and fighting, and that's all she's going to do. So I gave a story to kind of really give her some elements into that entire thing, it's kind of, I had no idea I'd ever do this, and I'm so glad it's finally here, because I had no plans for her to take Whiterun at all. She was just going to be this soldier back and forth, and I tried to think about as much as I could to kind of implant her in Skyrim. But now, this console command, I'm able to finally take Whiterun, and it gives her so much more story and so much more gravity into the series that I'm trying to make, and I love it. Now, obviously, since I can't physically do the quest to take Whiterun, I didn't want to start a new save and do the Battle of Whiterun, because that just, no way. I can't drop artillery. So the whole entire idea of this was to also build upon her character, that, she wasn't in the last attack for Whiterun. She wasn't there. So she saw that as a failure because the Stormcloaks, that was their very first battle which ignited the Civil War. But she saw it as a failure because they shot artillery, they were shooting catapults into Whiterun, they were hitting people's homes. They killed, they're designated to kill the Imperial farmer that runs the farm just outside Whiterun. And pretty much it killed so many. I had to resuscitate all the kids because they were running around and they were getting hit by catapults and they died. I mean, John Battleborn is permanently dead because of it, and I think a couple others have died because of the catapults. And their entire thing is to remove the Empire from their lands and free Skyrim of a weakness. But here they are acting as invaders and shooting catapults and artillery and killing the people of Whiterun. You're there to free them, not there to oppress them, and that's where they went wrong. And Sigund sees this, and she wants to. It means losing more soldiers, but at the same time it means no civilians are going to get killed, and the people will see them as, liberators and not oppressors, like they did the first time, which, probably sold Whiterun on the side of the Empire. These guys attacked us and burnt down our homes and killed our friends and family. She doesn't want to do that. She wants to go in, and free the people without blowing up their homes or killing their people fleeing, stuff like that. That's kind of the idea with this right here. Since I physically couldn't start the Battle of Whiterun as the Stormcloaks, there was no artillery, so I had to do it the hard way. And it's got quite a few battles in it, and I really like it. So we've got to play as Brianna too. Now Brianna, she's kind of the crazy twin. There's always that twin which is, calm and collected, and there's one that's batshit crazy. Brianna's that one, Sigund's all about freeing her land, restoring peace, and restoring freedoms and the rule of Nords to Skyrim, where Brianna just wants to slaughter Imperials because she's in a secret relationship with Angie, who was raped and beaten by Imperial soldiers, and they killed her family and blah blah, and she wants to make them suffer for their crimes against other Nord women they've raped, other Nords they've killed, and laws they've oppressed, and gods they've made illegal, and taxes that are just too much for the Nordic people. She wants to make them bleed, and she's in it for the full battling and killing of her enemies, not because she wants to liberate Skyrim, but because she wants to, paint Skyrim completely red in Imperial blood and make a wall blocking, in the Geralt Mountains, a wall of Imperial corpses that blocks Cyrodiil from Skyrim, and that's kind of the way I wanted to go with her. She's a very, I didn't ever think I'd get this much on her. I thought she was going to be like a side character for Sigund, but again, she plays an important role as the sister, as the Arks, kick ass and ask questions never sort of character, and I like that. And while doing these stories, sometimes they write themselves, like in the future. Like right here, I was walking back, I wanted to take some scenic shots of the snow falling across Whiterun, and Thalmor turned up, and these guys hate Thalmor. I just always imagine them cutting off their ears and maybe giving it to a courier and sending it to the Thalmor Ambassador, and I really like that idea. And of course, since we're doing the twin sisters, we had to do the woman that raised them, their grandmother. I try my very best to make these images look like paintings. Sometimes they look a little too good, but again, Tova's an old warrior, and to live this long as a warrior and be almost 70 years old and still looking fit and ready for battle is, she's blessed by the gods that she's lived a very healthy and successful life. Ignore the boob jiggle. She has a painting of her daughter, and she's here. She made a promise to protect her daughter's child. Her daughter had no idea she'd had twins because she died giving birth to them, or she died getting them cut out of her. And hopefully you've actually watched the previous chapters that I mentioned in the beginning, or Sigund mentioned, because it opens up a lot about their heritage. And I went and made this grave, and I think it took me like an hour, and that was all in game. I used the mod Jackson's Positioner to basically steal some slabs from the Falkreath tombs. I used some mod Clean Up Your Corpses to bury Morana. I set the timing right so it would be the right year at the right time, blah blah blah. And I decorated it with other items, like just things I found that I thought would make it look really nice, because this is Tova's daughter's graveyard. This is a place where her kid was born. This is a place where her kid died, and this is a place where her grandchildren were born and raised. So there's a lot of memories here in this place, and of course, Ulfric, he went in the Great War, and he had Morana as his housecarl that protected him during the war. And they grew close and shared some intimate moments during the Markarth incident, and it laid 2 seeds, I guess you could say. 1 seed that became 2. I don't know how twins work, but that's the way it is, and you can't afford to tell them. Now, if this, I decided to do some Game of Thrones stuff. They're not related, so it's all cool. Because I find a lot of life, when a woman dies, the fella finds a lot of comfort in their mother, especially if their mother's single, and it happens. There's nothing weird with it apart from her being 20 years older than them, but they're both bloody adults, and they're both mature adults, so it's all right. Morana's been dead for 26 years, so I can get away with that. And of course, it's not really Game of Thrones because they're not related. Now, I tried to spawn all these guys in the one spot, but actually I don't think they all came, because I think I was like probably missing half of them, but I thought I spawned them all in. But this is kind of a moment where I just wanted to appreciate the NPCs that I made before they died, because again, they're all mortal, and I have no idea at this time how many are going to be face down in the dirt. I even turned Tova's immortality off, so there could be a chance during the Battle of Whiterun that she died. There could be that chance. She hits harder, and she's got a little more health than these guys, and her weapon does a lot more damage, but she could have still died, because at the end of the day, she'd be built like a ship brick house and 2,000 HP, but you've got 15 Imperial soldiers digging into you, you don't have a chance. And this place right here is a mod from an Australian modder called Skylaz, and one of my favourite places. It's always where I store my Imperials. But in the story, the 99th Cohort, which is Senturos' division that's run by Legate Ricker, has been split up. One of the vanguards have taken half the forces, and they're guarding the Reach from the Forsworn and the Rebels because of the silver and all that. And the other half is led by Senturos, which is guarding the Rift, trying to have a gateway into Winterhold at the time they thought they were going to get there. and, you know, guarding Maven's estate. So this is their home, was their home, and now the whole expansion of Sigund taking Whiterun off the Imperials, it's now her home. And she'll burn down the flag, she'll restore the Shrine of Talos, she will make it a place for her legion for the Stormcloaks. And I plan on adding more paintings and putting them around, replacing other paintings and stuff like that, because I want this to be her home, and it's going to be her home for a long time, even after the Dragon Wars, when, of course, I've set the story up for the Imperials to win. You know, and I fear I have to come back to Whiterun and fight all over again, but I'm going to do it a smarter way, because I really get so angry when I'm trying to film like the Whiterun Conquer, because, man, it just goes batshit crazy. There's too many NPCs lying around. It drives me up the friggin' wall. It makes me furious. So I'm going to find a smarter way to do that the next run, when the Empire comes back for round 3, I guess you could say. Now, I wanted Tova to kind of play the emissary because she's been here before, but this time they're going to know who she is, because Tova was here in April. I'm pretty sure it was April or March of the year 201. I don't know what they call the months here, but around then, when she played the old innocent woman that got information she needed to help an old friend that was once one of her comrades in a little mercenary band to find her son. And, you know, back then there was a Talos statue, the tree was dead, so it's been a long time. It's, third month? Around 8 months since she's been in Whiterun. And she's going to deliver this message because the Imperials and the Stormcloaks won't, you know, kill her, because she's a very respected warrior. And the Nords have a sense of honour, even Bolgrif. Even though he's depicted by Sigund as being a cowardly Imperial puppet. But there is still there's still honour amongst, you know, Bolgrif and the other Imperial, some of them anyway, that will not attack a woman because she's here to deliver a message. Tova comes in, basically, it's pretty much a ultimatum. Do or die. You know, it's do what you're told, or, you know, suffer the consequences. Pretty straightforward. Walks in like a boss, tells Bolgrif off in front of his men, in front of him, in front of everybody, and walks out like she's got the biggest set of nuts in the building. Now this is, like, I've filmed these scenes probably 15, 20 times, man, before they either crash or froze, or I didn't like it and had to go back. Because, like, you see a floating NPC back there, drove me up the fucking wall. Because there was too many NPCs around, so NPCs just started floating or their AI wasn't activating, which was a pain in my ass. But I got a massive battle scene done, and I'm happy with it. This is probably the biggest chapter when it comes to Civil War in my sort of content, because there's just so many battles in this, so much death, and this is probably the biggest loss for me. Thank God I don't bury these guys on the Stormcloaks, because it'd take forever, and I don't think I even want to do it anymore. I just will, write them down, or put them in a folder or something with the names so I remember them, or this or that, or if they're close to the character, they'll probably get buried or sent back to Skyrim, or whatever the fudge happens to them, But this was probably the biggest sort of war that I've actually had. And I wanted it to be at night time because, again, they didn't want to launch artillery into the city, but they also didn't want to attack it during the day when people are out living their life. They wanted to do it when they were at home or in the inn, where they were in a safe place. The only people that would be dying would be Stormcloaks and Imperials and Whiterun Guard. We defeated Bolgrif. Basically, girls wanted to execute her, but the grandmother's a bit more of intelligent. Don't kill him, because if you look bad, be a bit more civil. Show the Stormcloaks that we're not animals, that we are Nords seeking justice and freedom. Don't look like the bad guys. And they understood that, because Sigund knows a bit better. They kind of just want to cut through the enemy, but sometimes they got to spare, and show some civility, which is all right. Now we skip to a couple of days. Actually no, we go into some of the meat grinder of the tragedies of what have happened to some of these troops, where they've died, and we lost a couple that quite important to some of chapter 10, because Brenfilda and Horbrand were mercenaries that joined on to Tova's mercenary unit when she was in the 50s, when Morana was walking around as one of her soldiers, and here they are, back when they were in their early 20s, before they had their child, before they joined the Stormcloaks and aided Sigund, because they knew, these two knew their mother, fought alongside her, and both of them died in this battle. And again, like I said, all these guys, all my soldiers are mortal. I even made Tova mortal and Brianna mortal. It would have been a really impactful story, because I've got plans for Brianna after the Civil War and this sort of stuff, but they could definitely be cut short, and their own story could be it could be completely different, because if Brianna died, that would have changed the story. It would have made Sigund very angry and very sad, and the same thing with Tova. Both of them would have been fueled by anger and rage. The Imperials had killed their grandmother or one of their sisters. Obviously not Sigund, she's got a bit of plot armor. But again, that's kind of where I wanted to go. And they'd taken Whiterun just in the nick of time, within the space of a day or two. The snows had, had left their mark upon, Skyrim. It had now become winter, which I think is absolutely beautiful, man. Holy moly. Now, winter for the Nords is still very dangerous for them, but for everyone else that isn't a Nord, it's even more threatening. Plus, the last, over the hints of the last few stories, that, when the sun disappears, hidden by the clouds, certain other things come into play. And so there's a few more chapters that are going to be kind of kicking off after the Civil War with this sort of big bad, kind of storylines. Certain things will start reappearing, and, well, the fangs will come out to play. Sorry about the fucking, basically the border roll here. This is like a this is like a bloody roll call. But I wanted to, like, Sigund to know their names, remember each and every one of them that died during this campaign to take Whiterun. And all that sort of stuff. But again, I had no idea that he would actually, like, there'd be the dialogue there for this, because, fucking Joel Borgriff, or whatever, I keep forgetting his name, but Borgriff the Greater, he makes you a Thane, and I didn't think they'd actually do it again with a different Thane, but apparently you can become a Thane again if, the option, the dialogue's there, if you, it's weird, because I'm already a Thane, and like the main playable character, which is Skyrim is designed for one, I'm already a Thane of Whiterun, but again, it gave me the option to do it again, and I thought, awesome, sweet. Making Sigund a Thane of Whiterun is awesome, and then I can give her another housecarl, because I've got Lydia as as Senturos' Imperial or Whiterun aligned housecarl, and then I've got this new girl that's sort of like part of the Stormcloak army that's been assigned to be a housecarl for Sigund and join her forces and that sort of stuff. And she's got some cool new gears from Sons of Skyrim, made by the very same author that's made Guard Armor Replacer, which you can see to the right. But he wanted to make his entirely new take on it, and the gear looks gorgeous. I kind of want, that gear to be used by all my custom Bear-Claw Brigade. They're the only ones that wear it. Once the Stormcloaks take Markarth due to the silver, and the money they earn, they're able to afford unique and better gear than the rest of the Stormcloak army. But I don't know about that. That's, again, in the future. But, it's pretty cool seeing Whiterun in Stormcloak Control Man, because I've never seen that before. I've never seen it. Ever, because I played Imperial, I never knew you could, lose it to the Stormcloaks. So this, for me, like, I've only ever seen this once when I did the campaign only once for the Stormcloaks. So, like, it's probably like the second time in the space of 13 years that I've actually seen. I don't remember the first one at all. But now, like, I'm here, and it's like I've put Stormcloak flags around the place. There's Stormcloak guards, the Stormcloak Jarl. It feels so goddamn cool. And hearing the dialogue from the NPCs and probably even the companions, and I wonder how, what's the name? Octavia's going to feel about the people that killed her father when she was a little girl, and now running the city that she's training in. But all that sort of stuff. This is awesome for me because, like I said, it's the first time, and these stories are pretty much writing themselves. And that's what I love about telling stories, is that a lot of the times they write themselves, and I love that. It feels natural. Now, I just really wanted to show off Skyrim in its winter state. Whiterun's normally golden grass for me and open plains, but now it's just snow. And the Stormcloak flag now basically sits over the top of Greymoor while she walks back to what was once Senturos' keep, which is now her keep. And we come across a familiar face. I did a video on this earlier this year, where I walked up to him with an Imperial Legion behind me, and he says he wants to go join Ulfric, and then I cut his head off, and that got quite a few views. But now I was like, because I thought I'd be like, I think I heard it twice, that guy can say both Imperial lines and Stormcloak lines. And I filmed it just for a laugh, just go, we meet again. And he'd say, like, he's going to join the Imperials, and Sigund would cut his head off. But he said that, and it just worked for the story. I was like, I'll keep that. That's awesome. She's on the road, and there's an Imperial that wants to join onto the Stormcloak Rebellion. Like, that's fucking awesome. Sounds like the stories of conquest and victory against the Imperials is paying off. That people are going to join up to the Stormcloaks. I think they're going to win, and it's awesome because, again, she's going to need some new troops after the last one. She lost like 22, I think, and I'm going to start to make some more Nords, which is a pain in the ass, but that's the whole point of these guys and why I make them, because I want them to live, but again, their services are going to die and to lose their life in a more personal way, to where they're not just levelless soldiers, they're characters, they're part of the story. They either live or they don't, and that's kind of the way I want it to be. I hope you guys have enjoyed this story. Let me know in the comments, and if you like, give it a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one, and hope you've enjoyed.